Ah, all right, hello everyone. I'm a bit pissed off now because I'm on for the first recording of this video, but that's okay. This is take two, and I know it's working now. So hopefully I'll have a bit more of a clue what I'm talking about. Now, to get us started, I'll just do a little bit of a fly around here. This is a cannon that I'm working on for the next map of Complex. 1sec 384 AP OSRB Nuke. Nothing really special, except for the fact that it's using full PWM filters again. I'm sort of like in a bit of a craze over this at the moment, and I know it looks pretty crap for the moment, but I really wanted to show this off again. And hopefully once I clean up a bit of the cannon, it'll look a hell of a lot better, and you'll be able to get a proper appreciation for how cool this concept is. So, let's get started. Kick the cannon into gear. Fairly standard clock here, except for that repeater there. That's the... Can I potentially move that repeater? I need to look into that. I'm trying to make this clock safer, because I know someone's going to like toggle the wrong repeater and just nuke the cannon. Anyway, let's lever it and see what it does. So this cannon has 4 separate configurations that you can basically get by cycling a repeater through using essentially a massive amount of filters and basically logic gates to essentially transform. It's not an analog signal, but it's very very close to um, like filtering out certain frequencies because it's on for a certain amount of time, it's off for a certain amount of time, and that time is changing. That's essentially what PWM is. I'm not going to get too much, or I'm not going to get into it too much at the start of this video. I'll get into more of it at the end when I do a deep dive into what the actual filters are doing. Anyway, I've just switched that repeater there down to, or off to 1. I'm also just going to turn off TNT and sand. Hey, look at that. Anyway, we are now in backstack, as you can see there. That's fully dry backstack. That is my first configuration. Second configuration here is OSRB backstack. So it'll take about 5 seconds to cycle in the new shots. That is unfortunately one of the downsides. It's a little bit slower, but the fact that you can toggle multiple modes simultaneously with a single repeater, and you also don't need to fly around the cannon to break redstone. I think it should be an overall time save when you are doing toggles. Anyway, we're now in OSRB backstack there. You can see off it goes. I think it just hit a dry patch on the wall there. That's why it broke. No AP on it. You can see it's backstacking against that there. Anyway, configuration 3 is now OSRB, AP, and a nuke. It's a 1 game tick nuke. It's not even an efficient nuke. It is a shit nuke. However, it's good enough to clear out a little bit more debris, and it's also good to stop your backstack from fucking the next shot. And ultimately, it is also very, very handy in configuration 4, which is your nuke and AP. So up against your flats, this will go through them a lot more quickly. Come on, there it goes. So efficient AP, it will work basically only in the last configuration, and then it uses the AP as more of a bypass for that third configuration there. But yeah, fully stab toggle. So yeah. Anyway, what I'll do now is I'll just show you some of the advantages of it. So say we're just going through some walls there, and we quickly want to swap it over to OSRB backstack. All you need to do is that. And now, after that cycle time, come on. Yes, good cannon. There we go. Now we're at OSRB backstack. Say patches come in again, and you basically tell the... I can't use the word on YouTube for the actual term that I want to use here, but essentially the cannon slave. You tell the cannon slave, okay, go to configuration 2. All I need to do is right click that twice. You're now configuration 2, which is AP and nuke. Any second now. There we go. Bang, just like that. Let's say go back to configuration 1. So as long as this person isn't flying around, they're staying on the same spot, they can just go bang like that. Now we're back in configuration 1, which is dry backstack. This is all safe toggle as well, by the way. So you can toggle this while the cannon's firing, the cannon won't blow. Now dry backstack. So we want to go configuration 3, which is OSRB, AP, and Nuke. Off you go. Boom. Just like that. So that's all it is. It's just those 4 presets in the cannon. And once I clean up a bunch of the wiring on this, because it is just frankly dog shit, I will, yeah, I'll probably release this cannon a bit later into the season, because I do actually intend to play this draft map. I've sort of got roped into it with the promise of some casual racism. So, um, so yeah, like towards the end of the season, I'll release this cannon. But yeah, anyway, if you're just a casual viewer and you don't really care about the specifics of how this works, just tune out now. For anyone else that's like properly interested in how this thing works, it's an absolute fucking mindfuck, and I'll do my best to explain how it all works here. So down the bottom here is a safe toggle clock that changes the output pulse length of the output pulse length signal essentially. So this repeater here, all you're doing is you're changing the amount of ticks that the clock stays on for, or the on signal stays on for. So it can either stay on for 1, 2, 3, or 4 redstone ticks. Now, most parts of the cannon, it doesn't affect because you're just running it through like this repeater, sticky piston, and the observer. So the rest of the cannon, say like this booster, powers, everything, everything that you don't want to toggle, is still like just a completely functional part of the cannon. However, everything that you do want to toggle, basically it picks up the signal through that repeater and then goes up this chain of glass here. It needs to be glass, and then into this comparator. So this is where it becomes a bit of a mindfuck, and this is why this cannon took me several days to work on. So a comparator can only go for redstone durations of, or redstone length durations of 2, 3, or 4 in this setup. So by having the main repeater down here set to 1, basically what it does is it stops this comparator from even functioning at all. So anything past this comparator here will not function, which means that's just a glitched observer, by the way. I think it is at least. Anyway, your OSRB, your Nuke hammer, your AP, what else was on it? Nuke hammer, AP, OSRB. I think that's everything. And reswing. None of that activates on 1 because it's just killed instantly at this repeater. So that's like the first configuration. That's very, very easy. However, when you jump down into like, because I have like OSRB and then OSRB, AP and Nuke, and then AP and Nuke. Once you get a little bit further down there, you need to start filtering out the signals a bit more finely than that comparator there. So those are the 4 configurations that I have, and those are the filters that I needed for each of those. So OSRB, obviously, I don't have it on the last one. I can drop the OSRB sand freely because it's just a one-shot sand. It's just going to despawn. But of course, I can't have the OSRB hammer on when I'm nuking because it's going to be on like a different timing. But anyway, so from this, I got 3 filters that I needed. One doing the OSRB, one doing the Nuke, and one doing the reswing. The Nuke one's also for the AP as well, so that's why I didn't really include that. You can see AP and the Nuke there are both linked to those last 2. So that left me with 3 filters that I needed. Now on Canner Butter's plot, I might actually just go there quickly, just for demonstrative purposes. Home Canner. I originally came up with that concept. I did a teaser video on it, and then Canner Butter basically picked it up and just nerded the fuck out about it. And he constructed a bunch of these toggles. I put a bunch of these like toggle screenshots in my Discord, just for future reference. I also put a picture of a clock in there as well, just so it's a little bit easier because I don't think these are worth like skimming. But you do want to use them as reference rather than make your own on the spot. Anyway, so there's a bunch of filters here to use. So what I needed was 2, 3, So I think you should have them labeled. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. So this is the filter I used for 2, 3. This is the OSRB filter. It doesn't look exactly like that because what I've sort of done is conjoined um, essentially 3 filters into one massive filter that does everything for me. But I needed this filter here. So screenshots in the Discord, but like I would have a look at this filter, see what I needed for 2, 3. Additionally, I also need 3, 4, which is actually very, very easy, I think, from memory. Like that's 3, 4 there as well. And the most important bit is this one here. This is 3, 4 as well. The reason why this is important is it shares basically complete similarities with. Is that 3, 4? I'm 90% sure that's 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 3, 4 line. Has to be 3, 4. And yeah, I'm using it, so it is 3, 4. Now, the important thing about that one is this, like this filter here is very, very similar to. You should have a filter for 3. This guy here. So you can see here that this bit that does 3, 4 has basically an extension on the end that cuts out the 4th. So what I did was I basically pulled a line off the end of that, and then you've got the 3, 4 here, and then you've got the bit that cuts out the 4 there. So you can get 3, 4, and 4 out of the same toggle, and that's like sort of what I did. So basically, I took those three filters, sort of smashed them together on top of my sand comp, and then yeah, boom. You can sort of see like this is the 2, 3 filter here. I've got the comparator over here that does all the automatic filtering, so only like durations of 2 resident ticks can go past that point. And then we've got the 2, 3 filter there, which pulses the OSRB hammer once. And then at the end here, this is a 3, 4, and then this side here is the bit that cuts out the 4 and only does the 3. So at that point, we end up with 3, 4 here, which goes across. It does. I actually don't have the AP wide on. Oops. Hopefully the cannon doesn't blow when I do wire that back on. Should be fine. But anyway, so AP is this one here. Does like this set of dispensers here. Like I said, like the wiring for this cannon is absolutely jank at the moment, but I'll fix it. This side here is the Nuke hammer. It's a really, really bizarre setup, but it isn't all in one, so I can't really complain too much. And then also doubles back here, and it does the Nuke hammer as well. So I'm reusing like the OSRB hammer dispensers for the Nuke hammer, and because I'm using both those filters separately, it means that like you can more finely activate it by having one coming out of the 2, 3 filter, one coming out of the 3, 4 filter, and I've got like four resident ticks between them. So you can just reuse that entire set of dispensers there. And then finally, the 3 filter here comes out and does the re-swing, because you only want the re-swing for OSRB and Nuke. So this whole concept and this cannon, it's a complete mindfuck, and it's taken me a couple days to wrap my head around it. Just like mashing all the filters together, preserving the filter length, and then troubleshooting this cannon's been an absolute nightmare. But I also suspect once you get like the basics of it down, you get a basic like main filter setup for all your toggles and everything like that, you can just essentially neaten everything back down, and then you should be good to go for a really, really nice cannon for a lot of servers, to be honest. I think this current configuration is probably going to be my go-to in future, with like the main toggle and then 2, 3, 3, 4, and then 3 with the reswing. It just seems like a really, really nice setup. I'm sure there'll be like other uses you can do with this, like doing push nukes and like changing priority and stuff with ticks. But for the moment, baby steps with these sorts of cannons. This is a massive step up over the 3sec, because this is using much more complex filters. But as you can see, it's basically fully operational now. So yeah, hopefully, like once I release this, people are gonna start properly jumping into the world of PWM. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you stay towards the end, good on you for sort of seeing my very, very poor explanation of how this actually works. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll release this in the next few days, and yeah, catch you later.